The plan to ethnically cleanse Gaza didn't start with Trump. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. I still can't get over how absurd it is that everyone's acting like the plan to ethnically cleanse Gaza is some new idea that Donald Trump just came up with. Wait, so you're saying we make the Palestinians go away and replace them with Jews? What bold, innovative thinking! By golly, that's just crazy enough to work. This notion that removing all Palestinians from Gaza is a fresh new idea that was conceived of by Trump is one of the most ridiculous narratives we're seeing pushed by the mainstream political media class today. Israeli think tanks and intelligence services were pushing the plan to move Gaza's inhabitants to Egypt within days of the October 7th attack. The Biden administration tried unsuccessfully to get Cairo to facilitate this agenda. Kicking the Palestinians out of Gaza to neighboring Arab states has always been the plan. It didn't just emerge out of nowhere when Trump became president. And yet you'll see everyone on both sides of the mainstream partisan divide furiously pushing this narrative that this is all Trump's idea, whether they support or oppose the ethnic cleansing agenda. If they support it, they'd talk it up as some brilliant, outside-the-box innovation nobody's ever thought of before. And if they oppose it, they completely erase from history the fact that it was being advanced under the Biden administration in the early days of the onslaught. I just saw Alan Dershowitz babbling about how we should all thank Donald Trump for coming up with the first new idea in many, many years about how to solve this problem. But it isn't a new idea, and Trump didn't come up with it. Driving Palestinians out of their historic homeland has been the Zionist vision for the region since before Israel was even established as a state, and all of its actions from 1948 on have borne that out. This has always been about ending the existence of Palestinians in Palestine. And that's all it's ever been about. Not October 7th, not hostages, not fighting terrorism, not self-defense. This is about driving Palestinians out of their homeland so that their territory can eventually be fully and officially absorbed by Israel. Israeli sources are telling Haaretz that Benjamin Netanyahu is planning to sabotage the ceasefire in Gaza to keep it from progressing to its second phase after the 42 days of its first phase are up. It's entirely possible we'll see things slide right back into the same nightmare we were looking at during the Biden administration in a few weeks. A member of the Zionist ultranationalist group Beitar recorded himself handing pro-Palestinian academic Norman Finkelstein a pager the other day, a menacing reference to Israel's terrorist attack in Lebanon, in which beepers loaded with explosives were detonated simultaneously around the nation. Israel supporters can't get enough of this pager shtick. They think it's the most clever thing in the world. See, the joke is that maybe the pager is explosive, and you'll be murdered for disagreeing with their political beliefs. Very subtle stuff. Really makes you think. Democrats are as happy as a pig in shit right now. Suddenly they get to pretend all the unfathomable evils their president inflicted upon our world never happened, just because there's a different president doing bad things who people are feeling big feels about. They wanted to lose. They're overjoyed that they don't have to be the face of the U.S. empire's depravity anymore, and that it's no longer their job to make excuses for it. They're getting everything they want out of the present arrangement, because liberals don't actually care about fixing problems and making the world a better place. They only care about feeling good about themselves. Their politics is never actually about anything other than their feelings, and Biden was making their feelings feel bad. Trump lets them feel smug and vindicated and correct. He also lets them feel outraged and indignant, and they enjoy that too. But it's all bullshit. No matter what Trump says or does, or how he and his goons make people's feelings feel, it will still be a historical fact that Biden and his handlers spent 15 months facilitating a campaign of extermination and demolition in Gaza, which could not have happened without U.S. backing. It will still be a historical fact that Biden and his handlers pushed Ukraine into an unwinnable war that the U.S. and its allies knowingly provoked in order to advance geostrategic grand chessboard agendas, sabotaging potential peace negotiations and threatening the world with nuclear annihilation along the way. It will still be a historical fact that Biden kept in place many of the ugly policies put in place during the first Trump administration and actively expanded and added to them. It's important to point this out because Democrats are posturing as opponents of tyranny and abuse right now, and they aren't. They are allies of tyranny and abuse, who LARP as righteous defenders of truth and justice whenever the other tyrannical and abusive party happens to be in power. Their behavior during the Trump administration shows you how they wish to be perceived, but their behavior during the Biden administration showed you who they really are.